we just talked about if that motor fails to have a split capacitor motor. Is that correct? Saying it that way?
I would do it that way. I mean,
Okay.
you've kind of already bought into this expensive blower motor, so
Right.
you might as well try to hook it up and see if it's going to work.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Ultimately, what we want to do is we get this set up here, connecting this. This used to be a huge old ass
Boiler or something?
Yeah.
oil burner.
Yep.
Okay.
And we want to get this connected into this ductwork. Here's the return, that's the supply. And basically we need to know what to need to do to hook this up. I mean, a plenum, yeah, obviously, it shouldn't be too difficult. But if there was anything else we need to do to this furnace besides hooking up the water lines.
Rotate it 90 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
So that coil is over there. So
Yeah.
you can make your transitions that way because you said this is your return.
Yep.
So you're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now it's not great that it's going to be right here. This isn't a whole lot of working room, but it would make your life a
It's
lot
more
easier.
than downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make your life a lot easier. Now hold on here. This return air goes right here. Does it go anywhere over here?
It hooks up into the joist.
Oh, it does. Yeah. So you want to keep this then. If it was just that trunk line over there,
Then it would be nothing
you
to
could
change.
rip this down and then pop it in right there and come straight down. But it does.
It goes
get
through the
floor
joist.
door. Rotate it 90 degrees, the front of the unit, right over there.
Okay.
And then you'll just do your transitions with your sheet metal stuff.
Okay. But you don't see anything missing as far as the boards on down below from the other one.
No, it's got that standard water furnace board.
Okay.
They've cut the freeze sensor right here. There's 2 yellow wires.
Okay.
And they pull the sensor off of the refrigeration line. And they wire nutted it together. That usually may indicate that there may be a refrigeration issue.
Okay.
Not saying that there is,
Sure.
but that sensor is always looking at refrigeration temperatures. Take a quick look-see in here.
Yeah. So the two lines that are cut
Non-programmable
on.
thermostat. Looks like they've got. Might be a thermostat in that
Oh,
box.
yeah, look at that.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, nice. Nice old thermostat. It's a water
Yep.
furnace thermostat.
They've got, okay, so
A little sun damage.
temperature sensor is disconnected, and they've got a high pressure switch is disconnected. Yeah, they got it just wire nutted together.
Yep.
This is a high pressure switch.
Okay.
So when the high pressure, the refrigeration pressures on the high side get too high, it will break the circuit, shut the compressor off, and we'll throw it into a lockout.
Okay.
So somebody's already kind of
Mess with this a little
boogered
bit.
with that a little bit. So 2 things: temperature sensors
That's that yellow one down
disconnected.
there. It's cut,
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And high pressure switch is disconnected. And
The motor just tacks back up, which is no big deal.
you can try to hook them back up, wire for wire. It's a series circuit there.
Okay.
So you can try. You can give that a try. Right now, you're not protected for high pressures. So
Okay.
if it gets too high, there's nothing to
Air
shut the...
or water? Air.
No, refrigeration
Refrigeration.
pressure.
Sorry, refrigeration.
The
Okay.
refrigeration pressure gets too high, you have no safety switch. It's just going to keep running until it actually burns up the compressor.
Gotcha.
There can be a dangerous situation. You want to be
Yep.
aware of that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
As far as the water lines coming to it, doesn't matter if we reduce. I mean, just as long as it reduces down to that size, and it's fine.
Right. That's a 1-inch.
Yep.
And like the other one, you have to have that solenoid valve.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And you'll hook your Y1 and your Y2 to that, your first stage and second stage. I can't see if there's any O-rings. There needs to be rubber O-rings in there. You'll have to take a look and see. So when you hook that up,
Yeah, there's rubber in there.
yeah, you need those rubber O-rings to make the seal. Don't get out a pair of channel locks and tighten that down. That's hand tightened. Don't get your wussy guy on it. Get this guy right here. If he put his hands on it and vice it down.
Okay.
But it's not designed to take a pipe wrench to and tighten that down. You'll actually
Strip out
warp.
the inside.
No, you'll warp the backing
O-rings.
plate on it, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
will leak. It will
Yeah.
leak even worse.
Okay. That's good to know. Trying to
Water
think.
in, water out. And it would be preferable instead of PVC right into that fitting, especially since you're not protected with any sensors here. At least a couple sensors are not hooked up. What could happen is you could overheat or freeze, and the PVC here can melt and pop right off, and you'll have water all over.
Okay.
So here's what you should do. You should take a nipple, like a brass nipple of some sort, thread that in there, and then you can thread your PVC onto that. Okay?
We're actually going to run we have some 1-inch PEX.
Okay. Do not run a brass fitting and then crimp a PEX fitting on there.
Nope.
Because again, if it overheats, it will melt that PEX like it's butter.
Okay. So it'd be a good idea to go from PEX then to PVC to brass.
No. From the unit, brass.
Yep.
To PVC. And then, I saw you guys, you'd go like 2 or 3 feet down, then I saw the 1-inch PEX you guys were using. You'd be fine with that. You have to really, what would be really nice to see is if you could get some of the threaded copper pipe, put your brass fitting in there, and at least get about 1.5 to 3 feet of copper.
From the furnace.
From the furnace.
Divert any of that heat before it gets
if
to
it
the
ever
PEX.
does overheat, it's not gonna melt the PVC.
So we can use brass and copper hard pipe it up to a point where, like, let's say up to here would be safe. It would be like 6 feet.
3 feet minimum would be nice if you could do that.
We
Kind
did
of
that.
like the one downstairs. I don't know if you saw the one downstairs. They did it all copper. Now that's the way that I would do it.
Okay.
And that's kind of the way that they recommend to do it.
Well, that's what I was planning, because I didn't want to loop with PEX. I was going to bring the PEX up to this point, and then from there do hard pipe.
But I've seen guys that will just take they'll take a brass nipple and just thread it on in there,
And just
and then from that brass nipple, they get a 6-inch nipple, 6-inch nipple. Then they'll do a PVC. You're fine with that, okay?
But you run the risk of possibly melting if it gets too hot.
You do, and you're not protected because your sensors aren't even hooked up.
Right.
Okay. Which we could try to reconnect them if they work great. If not, we have to replace them.
And I do recommend water sensors by the Geos. Those are real cheap. You can get them at Lowe's and Menards. And if you guys got an alarm system in the whole
Water
building,
sensors, what would that?
Basically, you put it on the floor, and if you had a water leak down here,
like actually it sends if there is water on the floor.
Yeah, it makes it's a water alert sensor basically.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So you can tie that into your alarm system and to page somebody and say, hey, I got a leak. There's water.
You can tie it actually into Nagios.
Yeah, I probably.
Especially with the other one not having the condensate sensor hooked up, that may be something that would save you guys a lot of money if you did have a water damage. You could catch it before it actually.
Isn't that already? Didn't we already take care of that with the sump pump in case it leaked or whatever because of all the flooding in the basement?
I don't remember, to be honest. I'd have to think about that.
They're cheap. Those are cheap. They're well worth every bit of the money. Some of those, they call them hockey pucks.
Yep.
You can actually wire them right into the low voltage side.
Okay.
So when it senses the water on the floor and the sensors on the floor, it actually shuts the unit off.
Okay.
Those are even better because if you don't get here within an hour to 2 hours,
It's going to keep on flooding.
It's off. It's not going to.
Yep.
Now the unit is off. That doesn't mean if
The
you've got a
water's off.
water supply leak, it's not
Correct.
going to shut the water off.
It couldn't be set to where it actually closed the solenoid.
Yes, it can be done with some relays, but you have to beware because sometimes you can get some feedback.
And close it prematurely.
Yep.
Yes. Well, actually what will happen is you'll have a bunch of crazy stuff happening with the solenoid coil. The water coil will do some weird stuff, can do some weird stuff.
Okay.
So, okay.
Any other questions you have there, Wes?
As far as you can tell, is this heating element decent? Still usable?
Well, you guys don't have any of the heating elements. The Climate Master doesn't even have any heating elements. The other water furnace down here doesn't even have line voltage power going to the heating elements.
So I didn't know.
Up top there.
Okay.
Okay. So right in here, I didn't bring my screwdriver.
That's fine.
But you pop this open here, and then what the heat strips are is an auxiliary or an emergency backup.
So this isn't necessary to use.
It is not necessary to use, and if you do use it, you have to run a dedicated circuit to it.
Yeah.
You cannot share the bottom circuit for the compressor, the
Different
geo
amps.
part.
With the heat?
You
Yep.
cannot share circuits like that.
Okay.
So the circuit down on the bottom is going to be much lower than the circuit up top here, and you've got it looks like you've got 10 kW heat strips. So each one of those heat strips, when they're energized, is going to draw 21 amps.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So you guys don't have it hooked up on the other one. There's no line voltage going to it.
Okay.
If you decide to do that here, you need to run separate circuit breaker.
Breaker.
So I'm not sure if you guys want to use that feature or not. It's auxiliary
Probably
and
not,
emergency backup.
Probably not, but I figured I'd ask anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
What that's designed to do is on those real cold days
If it
where you
get
can't get enough BTUs to support the heat loss, that will come on with the Geo to kind of help keep that temperature difference 2 degrees or lower.
Okay.
Okay? And then, of course, if you lose the Geo, then you have some heat versus no heat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
It looks like you got your power over there.
Yep.
And on your panels here, it states the size circuit breaker for the unit here. I'm going to tell you how much amps it draws. So it looks like you guys are all, you guys understand that. See, it says maximum fuse is a 40 amp.
Yep.
That does the bottom down there, okay?
Yep.
So, and then to get in here and tell you exactly how much the compressor pulls and how much the blower motor, and then the external pumps would be for a closed loop system. So make sure you get the circuit breakers right for these, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to put too big of a circuit breaker in there, okay?
Yep. Nope. Makes sense to me.
And that's it. So you rotate it 90 degrees, you put your blower motor back in there and wire that up.
Get our plenum in. And
Look at those sensors. You can try to reconnect those sensors and then start it up and see. Now, we might be looking at a unit that doesn't have any refrigerant in it.
It's
You
very
will
possible.
not know until you actually start it up.
Okay.
Short of putting refrigeration gauges on it.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Cool beans.
All right. Thank you.